Hi, everyone. Today's artist of the week is Pierre Mondrian, and he was born in Holland in 1872. When he had graduated high school, he taught art at the primary grade levels, which would be elementary. And working there for 3 years, he received a certificate that allowed him to teach art to secondary students, like middle school and high school students. Now, the money that he made from teaching, he went on to school and he would go to school at night. He would take classes at night, and most of them were painting classes. Now, a lot of his painting classes were very realistic paintings. He was learning how to mix color and, do things like portrait and landscape and things like that. But around 1910, his whole idea of art started to change. And he liked the idea of making things that would look more and more abstract. Abstract meaning it doesn't necessarily have to look like a person, place, or thing. It might just be line and shape and color. And here are some of his works here. Now, if you notice, he uses a very limited color palette, like in this one here. This one is the large composition A with black, red, yellow, and blue. And notice that there is black, red, yellow, blue, and you also see white and gray. The black, white, and gray are accent colors. The red, yellow, and blue are the primary colors. And he thought that those colors were strong enough that they could stand on their own, and you wouldn't necessarily need to have a lot of flashy things or fancy things around them, that the color would be the drive behind the painting. He had moved all over Europe, leaving Holland, going to Paris, and then moving to London, England, and then he ended up in New York City, where he became very well known amongst a group of young abstract artists of the 20th century. And his work was really idolized because it was so different, and it wasn't like anything anybody had ever seen before. I mean, just blocks of color, but yet it evokes such a feeling because of those colors, those strong emotional colors like red, yellow, and blue, were really something that was unseen before. He died in 1944 in the United States, and he is known as one of the greatest abstract artists of the 20th century. So, Pierre Mondrian, our artist of the week. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the color wheel today. We've talked about this before, but we're going to review it because you're going to be choosing colors that you're going to put in different quadrants. So, our primary colors are marked with a star on the color wheel chart, and they are red, yellow, and blue. Now, from those colors, you can get any colors in the world except black or white. But if you mix all of these colors together on the color wheel, you will get a gray. They will all cancel each other out in terms of brightness and intensity. So you're going to get a very muddy kind of gray color. Now, if you take two primaries and mix them together, you get a group called the secondaries. So you have the primary, red, yellow, blue. Secondary is the next step, like the second grade of color. And red and yellow will give you orange. Yellow and blue will give you green. Red and blue will give you purple or violet. Now, there's another family of colors represented on this color wheel, and those are called the tertiary colors. The tertiary colors are always a compound word separated by a hyphen. The primary is always listed first, and they are pairs. So there are 6 pairs. So it's always a primary and the secondary that's right next door to it. And then you mix those together, and that's how you get a group called the tertiaries. So you have primary, secondary, tertiary. It's like the third grade of color. So red and orange will give you red orange. Yellow and orange will give you yellow orange. Yellow and green will give you yellow green. Blue and green will give you blue green. Blue and violet will give you blue violet. And red and violet will give you red violet. And you can stop this video at any time. If I'm going too fast for you, you can always slow down. It's not a problem. I know I talk fast. So the neutral gray in the middle is what you get from mixing all of these colors together. Now, there's also 2 other colors that will give you gray, and those are black and white. Black and white mixed together will give you a gray. When you mix black with any color, it gets darker, and that's what we call a shade. Now, when you take white and you mix it with any color, it gets lighter, and that is what is called a tint. So mixing your white with the colors and your black with the colors will give you a whole bunch, an array of tints and shades. And those are important for lightening up areas, darkening up areas, and all it takes is a little bit of white or a little bit of black. That's all it takes. Now, in order to make our quadrants, you're going to make some type of abstract scribble design. It might be very pointed and geometric, like triangular or rectangular, or it could be more free-form and organic, more like circles and curls. So you just have to decide how you want to approach this. And I'm going to start off with something that's very jagged and go all the way to the edge of the paper. That's all it takes. Now, you're going to take this piece of paper, you're going to fold this in half and in half one more time, because then it's going to give you 4 quadrants. You're going to have 4 equal sections that you could be coloring in. And you can color this in with crayon, marker, pastel. It doesn't matter. Whatever you feel, colored pencil, whatever you feel that you want to use or whatever you have at hand is fine. But each section is going to be colored in with a different color scheme. So here are my 4 sections. And all of the sections that are created by the intersecting lines, each one will be colored in a different color. So I'm going to hold this one up to show you what a final project might look like. This one here is done with oil pastel, which I like, but I know some people don't like it. And you can use marker, you can use whatever you want. You don't have to use oil pastel. It looks great with marker, it looks great with colored pencil, it looks great with crayon. I've done it all. So this one here would be a lot like Mondrian, red, yellow, blue, and then you have the gray as a neutral. This will be primary with the neutral. This would be secondaries, orange, green, and purple. This would be tertiaries, red, orange, yellow, orange, red, violet, blue, green, yellow, green. And this one here would be neutrals, black, white, gray, and you can throw in brown or tan as a neutral because they are colors that will kind of calm down a picture, especially like adding a gray or a tan. It gives it a more like subdued kind of feeling. So colors that you use in art can evoke feelings, but they can also like tone down things too. So the brown and the gray can definitely do that for you. So thank you for watching my video today and hope you enjoy doing the color quadrants. Bye.